The bus stop smelled like rain and old concrete. Cora pulled her jacket tighter, the fabric doing nothing against Chicago's November wind. The LED light above her flickered, on, off, on, casting her shadow in stuttering intervals across the cracked pavement. Third time this week the bulb had malfunctioned. Third time she'd stood here alone at 11:47 p.m., waiting for the southbound that was always 12 minutes late. She wasn't alone. The feeling crawled up her spine like cold fingers. Someone was watching. Someone was always watching. Cora scanned the empty street, shuttered warehouses, chain-link fences, a liquor store with bars on the windows. Nothing moved except newspapers tumbling across asphalt. But the sensation persisted. Heavy, deliberate, the kind of attention that had weight. Across the street, hidden in shadow, a black Mercedes idled, engine purring, headlights off. Inside, Jack's Min-Jun Choi watched the woman at the bus stop through tinted glass. He'd been watching her for 732 days. 2 years of nights, 2 years of this same corner, this same routine, this same need coiled in his chest like barbed wire. Tonight, that routine would shatter. Tonight, 3 men rounded the corner, and Jax's hands tightened on the steering wheel. Cora heard them before she saw them. Laughter. Harsh and sharp, cutting through the quiet like breaking glass. She didn't turn her head, but her body shifted. Subtle, instinctive, weight to the balls of her feet. Bagstrap wound tight around her wrist. Keys threaded between her knuckles. 3 men, mid-20s, wearing jackets too thin for the weather and sneakers that squeaked against wet concrete. They moved with the loose confidence of predators who knew the territory, who knew the odds. The tallest one, face like a knife scar through his left eyebrow, grinned when he saw her. "Damn, baby girl, you out here all alone?" Cora's jaw tightened. She said nothing, eyes forward. The bus would come. The bus always came. I'm talking to you." Closer now, 10 feet, 8. "That's disrespectful, ignoring people." "She thinks she too good for us, Snakes," another one said. Shorter, stockier, with gold caps on his front teeth. "Look at her, acting all stuck up. Snake." The name registered in Cora's memory like a warning light. Marcus Snake Johnson. Local muscle for the West Side dealers. She'd seen his face on the community watchboard at the warehouse. Assault. Robbery. Armed. Her pulse kicked up, but her face stayed smooth. "Not interested. Have a good night." "Not interested?" Snake laughed, closing the distance. 5 feet now. Close enough she could smell him. Cigarettes and cheap cologne and something sharper underneath. "You don't even know what I'm offering." The third man, silent until now, moved to flank her. Boxed her in against the bus shelter. Cora's fingers tightened around her keys. The metal bit into her palm. "Step back." "Or what?" Snake reached out, fingers brushing her arm. That's when the Mercedes moved. The car pulled forward slow, deliberate. Headlights still dark, it rolled to a stop 10 feet from the bus shelter, angled so the driver's side faced the group. The engine cut. Silence swallowed the street. Snake turned, irritation flickering across his face. "The hell—" The door opened. Jack's Min-Jun Choi unfolded from the driver's seat like violence given human form, 6'3". Shoulders that strained his white dress shirt. 4 buttons undone, revealing the black scale of a dragon tattoo that crawled up his chest and coiled around his throat. His sleeves were rolled to his elbows, exposing forearms corded with muscle and marked with scars. He didn't hurry, didn't run, just walked. Measured. Controlled. Like a man who'd never needed to rush because threats simply moved. His eyes found Cora first. Dark, unreadable. Something flickered there. Recognition, possession, relief, before sliding to Snake. "Leave." 1 word. Quiet. Spoken like an execution order. Snake's bravado faltered. He knew that face. Everyone on the south side knew that face. Jax Choi, MJ. The man who'd taken over his father's empire at 25 and expanded it with methods that made hardened criminals nervous. "Look, man, we were just—" "I don't repeat myself." Jax's voice dropped lower, gravel and steel. His hand moved to his waistband, not drawing, just resting there. The message clear. The stocky one grabbed Snake's arm. "Yo, we out, we out." Snake hesitated. Pride warring with survival instinct. His eyes cut to Cora, then back to Jax. He saw something in that stare, something cold and absolute, and decided living mattered more than ego. Yeah, whatever, man. He backed up, hands raised. Ain't worth it. They left. Fast. Sneakers slapping pavement until the sound faded into the industrial maze of warehouses and empty lots. Jax watched until they disappeared. Only then did he turn back to Cora. She stood frozen, keys still laced between her fingers, chest rising and falling too quick. For 2 years, she'd felt eyes on her. For 2 years, she'd convinced herself it was paranoia, exhaustion, the loneliness of night shifts playing tricks on her mind. But it wasn't paranoia. It was him. You... Her voice cracked. She swallowed, tried again. You've been following me. Not a question, an accusation. Jax didn't deny it, didn't apologize. He just stood there, white shirt catching the broken LED light, dragon tattoo seeming to move with each breath. His eyes, God, his eyes, held hers with an intensity that made her skin prickle. 2 years, he said. Simple. Factual. Cora's stomach dropped. 2 years. Every night you work, every night you stand here. He stepped closer. Not threatening, at least not threatening her. But the air shifted, charged. Every night I make sure you get on that bus. Every night I make sure you get home safe. Why would you... The questions tangled in her throat. Fear and confusion and something else she couldn't name. I don't even know you. No. His mouth curved, not quite a smile, something darker. But I know you. The words hit like a physical thing. Heavy, possessive. Cora Michelle Hayes, 26, night shift security at Midwest Distribution. You live at 2847 West Monroe, 3rd floor, apartment 3C. You have your coffee black with 2 sugars. You call your neighbor Mrs. Carter every Sunday evening. Your best friend is Shanice Williams. You... Stop. The word burst out sharp, desperate. Stop talking. He did, immediately. But he didn't step back. Cora's mind raced. This was insane. This man, this criminal, had been watching her, stalking her, learning her routines, her life, her name. She should run, should scream, should... Those men, she whispered. They would have... Yes. No hesitation, no sugarcoating. And you, yes. Why? The question came out broken. Why me? Why have you been... watching? Jax's jaw tightened. For the first time, something cracked in his controlled expression. Something raw and honest and terrifying in its intensity. Because 2 years ago you smiled at an old man struggling with his groceries and carried them to his door. Because you give half your lunch to the homeless vet who sits by the warehouse. Because you work double shifts and still stop to pet stray cats. His voice roughened. Because in this city, in my world, good people don't exist. And then I saw you. He stepped closer. Close enough she could smell him now. Expensive cologne, leather, and something darker. Close enough to see the scars on his knuckles, the shadow of exhaustion under his eyes. You don't belong in this world, Cora. You're not supposed to be here, walking alone in the dark, hoping men like Snake just pass you by. His hand lifted, slowly, carefully, and brushed her cheek. She flinched but didn't pull away. So I made sure they did. For 2 years I made sure. Cora's breath caught. You're insane. Yes. I should call the police. You should. His thumb traced her jawline, feather-light, reverent. But you won't. How do you know? His eyes held hers, dark wells she could drown in. Because you feel it too. End of chapter 1. Will Cora run from the man who's been watching her? Or will she demand answers from the only person who's made her feel safe in years? The bus came. Hydraulic brakes hissed, doors folded open. The driver, an older black man named Jerome, who'd driven this route for 15 years, looked from Cora to Jax and back again. You good, Miss Hayes? Cora opened her mouth, closed it. Her keys were still threaded between her fingers. Her bag still wound tight around her wrist. Every self-preservation instinct she had screamed, get on the bus, get away, call someone. But her feet didn't move. Miss Hayes, Jerome asked again, concern creasing his weathered face. She's fine, Jax said, quiet, certain. Jerome's eyes narrowed. He'd seen plenty in 15 years. Knew the difference between danger and protection. Knew that sometimes they looked exactly the same. Ma'am, I need to hear it from you. Cora met Jax's gaze. searched for something. Threat, manipulation, the predator Snake and his friends had been, but all she found was patience, like he'd wait forever for her decision, like her choice actually mattered to him. She swallowed. I'm fine, Jerome. Thank you. The driver hesitated another beat, then nodded. You need anything, you got my number. I know. The doors closed. The bus pulled away, red taillights disappearing into Chicago's industrial darkness, leaving Cora alone with the man who'd haunted her periphery for 732 nights. My car's warm, Jack said. Not a command, an offering. I'm not getting in your car. Then we talk here. He shrugged, the motion pulling his shirt tighter across his shoulders. The dragon tattoo shifted. Your choice. My choice? The word came out sharp. You've been stalking me for 2 years, and now you're talking about choices. I never touched you, never approached you, never interfered with your life. His voice stayed level. Until tonight. Because those men would have hurt you. Blunt, final. And I don't allow that. You don't allow? Cora laughed, the sound brittle. Who the hell do you think you are? The man who keeps you alive. The certainty in those words stopped her cold. No arrogance, no bravado, just flat, undeniable truth. Cora wrapped her arms around herself. The November wind cut through her jacket like knives. I don't need protection. I've been handling myself just fine. Have you? Jax tilted his head. 3 weeks ago, a man followed you from the warehouse to the bus stop. I had someone redirect him. 5 weeks before that, your apartment building had a break-in on the 2nd floor. I posted security. 2 months before, stop. Her voice cracked. Just stop. He did. Silence stretched between them. The LED light flickered overhead. On, off, on, casting them in alternating shadow and harsh white light. What do you want from me? Cora whispered. Jax's expression shifted, something raw bleeding through the controlled exterior. For you to be safe. Why? Because when I watch you... He paused, searching for words that clearly didn't come easy. The world makes sense for those 30 minutes every night, watching you wait, watching you board that bus. Nothing else exists. No territory wars, no blood, no... He gestured vaguely at himself. This, you're talking about obsession. Yes. The honesty staggered her. No denial, no justification. That's not protection, Cora said. That's possession. Yes. You need help. Probably. He stepped closer. But I won't stop. I can't. Not while you're out here alone. Not while men like Snake see you as prey. Cora's hands trembled. So what? You just keep watching? Forever? No. His jaw clenched. Tonight changed things. How? They saw me intervene. They know you're connected to me now. His eyes hardened. Snake works for the West Side dealers. Word spreads fast. By tomorrow morning, everyone in Chicago's underworld will know that Jax Choi claimed someone. The word claimed made her stomach twist. You just made me a target, she breathed. No. Jax's hand moved, slow, careful, cupping her face. His palm was warm despite the cold, rough with old scars. I made you mine. There's a difference. She should pull away, should slap him, should scream. Instead, she asked, what does that mean? It means you don't take the bus anymore. It means you don't walk alone. It means, he paused, it means you let me keep you safe, properly. By doing what? Locking me in a tower? By giving you a choice. His thumb brushed her cheekbone. Come work for me. Cora blinked. What? Legacy import and export. My legitimate business front. We need a security coordinator for the main office. Day shift, safe building, protected parking. Salary triple what you make now. That's a bribe. That's a solution. His voice dropped. You keep your independence, your life, your apartment, but you're under my protection, officially. And if I say no, something dark flickered in his eyes. Then I keep watching from the shadows, but now the underworld knows you exist. Now Snake knows you exist, and I can't protect you from a distance anymore. It wasn't a threat. It was worse. It was reality. Cora's mind raced. This was insane, all of it. The stalking, the violence, the casual way he talked about the underworld and territory wars like discussing the weather. She should walk away, should report him, should... Why me? The question burst out again, desperate. Why not? Anyone else? Why did you pick me? Jax's expression softened. Barely, but enough. I didn't pick you, Cora. I saw you, and once I saw you, I couldn't stop. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have. The wind picked up, carrying the smell of rain and distant traffic. Somewhere in the warehouse district, a dog barked. A siren wailed, blocks away. Cora looked at this man, this gangster, who'd inserted himself into her life without permission, who'd watched her for 2 years, who'd just offered her safety wrapped in silk and steel. She should run. She should say no. She should... One condition, she heard herself say. Jax's eyes sharpened. Name it. No more watching. If I agree to this, if I take your job, your protection, you don't lurk in shadows anymore. You don't send people to follow me. You... She swallowed. You ask. Before you do anything. You ask. A long pause. Then, slowly, Jax nodded. Done. And I can leave, any time. If I want out, I walk away. No retaliation, no consequences. His jaw tightened. Cora, that's the deal. Take it, or I get on the next bus, and you never approach me again. Another pause, longer this time. She watched calculations run behind his eyes. Control versus compromise. Possession versus respect. Finally, agreed. Cora exhaled. Felt the weight of the decision settle on her shoulders. Then, okay. Okay, I'll take the job. She lifted her chin. But this doesn't mean I trust you. I know. And it doesn't mean I forgive the stalking. I know. And it definitely doesn't mean... Cora. His hand was still on her face. Warm. Steady. One step at a time. She nodded, not trusting her voice. Come on, Jax said softly. Let me take you home. This time, when he opened the Mercedes door, she got in. End of Chapter 2. Inside the car of the man who'd watched her for 2 years, Cora realizes her life just changed forever. But neither of them knows that across the Pacific Ocean, Jax's older brother has just learned about the woman who threatens everything their family built. The Mercedes interior smelled like leather and expensive cologne. Cora sat rigid in the passenger seat, hands folded in her lap, aware of every detail. The stitching on the seats, the dashboard that looked like it cost more than her annual rent. The way Jax moved, controlled, economical, like every gesture had purpose. He drove without speaking, no music, no radio, just the quiet purr of the engine and Chicago's nightscape sliding past the windows. Cora broke first. Where are we going? Your apartment. He didn't take his eyes off the road. 2847 West Monroe. Right, because he knew where she lived, had known for 2 years. After that? She asked. After that, you rest. Tomorrow you come to Legacy, meet the team, start your new position. His hands flexed on the steering wheel. We'll handle the logistics. Logistics. Resignation from the warehouse. Security clearances. Background check. Background check? Cora twisted to face him. You've been watching me for 2 years and you need a background check. The corner of his mouth twitched, almost a smile. Appearances matter. Everything has to look legitimate. Because you're a legitimate businessman. I am. He glanced at her. Brief. Intense. Legacy import and export is clean. Fully legal. Registered with the city, pays taxes, has employees with benefits and 401ks. And your other business? Separate. That's it? Just separate? You want details? His voice stayed neutral, but something shifted in his posture. I run territory on the south side. Protection, distribution, investments. I don't deal drugs. Don't traffic people. Don't touch kids. A pause. But I'm not a good man, Cora. Don't mistake protection for redemption. The honesty should have scared her. Maybe it did. But beneath the fear sat something else. Curiosity. The same morbid fascination people felt watching storm clouds roll in. What about your people? She asked. The ones who work for you. The not legitimate side. They know the rules. They know the consequences of breaking them. He turned onto Monroe Street, navigating the familiar route without hesitation. They're loyal. Because you pay them? Because I protect them. His knuckles whitened on the wheel. In this city, loyalty isn't bought, it's earned. Through blood and action and keeping your people alive when everyone else wants them dead. Cora processed that. So you're like a gang? No. Sharp, definitive. Gangs are chaos. Territory disputes every week. Leadership changes every month. Violence for the sake of reputation. He shook his head. I'm organized crime, structure, rules, predictability. You stay in line, you're protected. You step out, you're handled. Simple. Handled, yes. Meaning killed. He didn't answer. Didn't need to. They pulled up outside her building. 3 stories of tired brick and metal fire escapes. A liquor store on the corner, bars on every ground floor window. The kind of neighborhood where people minded their business and nobody called the cops. Jax killed the engine but didn't move to get out. Tomorrow, he said. 8 a.m. Legacy is at 1547 South Michigan Avenue. Ask for David Park. He's my head of security. He'll handle orientation. Cora reached for the door handle, paused. Those men tonight, Snake and his friends, what happens to them? They're handled. That's not an answer. Jax turned to face her fully. The dragon tattoo seemed to move in the dim light, scales shifting with each breath. You want the real answer? Yes. They'll receive a message. Tonight. Nothing permanent. Broken fingers, maybe a rib. Enough to remember. Enough to spread the word that you're under my protection. His eyes held hers. And if they're smart, they'll never come near you again. Cora's stomach twisted. You're going to hurt them. I'm going to make sure they never hurt anyone else. That's not justice. No, he leaned closer. That's territory, that's survival. That's the difference between you walking safe and you ending up in an alley. His voice dropped. You want to live in the world as it should be, Cora? Beautiful thought. But I live in the world as it is. She should argue, should condemn him, should... Thank you, she whispered instead. Jax blinked, like the words surprised him. For tonight, Cora clarified. For stopping them. Even if your methods are violent, cruel, criminal? Yeah, you're welcome. He reached across, opened her door from the inside. Get some rest. Tomorrow's a long day. Cora climbed out, her bag heavy on her shoulder. She made it 3 steps before turning back. Jax? He looked at her through the open window. What happens if I can't do this? If I wake up tomorrow and realize this is too much? His expression softened. Barely. Then you walk away. Like you said, no retaliation, no consequences. I keep my word. Even if it means you can't watch anymore. Even then, something painful flickered in his eyes. I'd rather you be free and hate me than trapped and miserable. Cora nodded, not sure if she believed him, but wanting to. She turned toward her building, made it to the front door before she heard the Mercedes pull away, engine fading into Chicago's endless night sounds. Upstairs, her apartment looked exactly the same. Tiny kitchen, lumpy couch, TV from 2015. Everything familiar, everything safe. Except now she knew someone had been watching. Had marked the route from her door to the bus stop. Had timed her routines. Had learned her life without permission. Cora dropped her bag, sank onto the couch, and put her head in her hands. What the hell had she just agreed to? Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. Unknown. This is David Park, Jax's associate. Confirming your 8 a.m. appointment at Legacy. Address attached. Looking forward to meeting you. DP, a second text arrived immediately after. Unknown. Also confirming security details stationed outside your building tonight. They won't bother you. Just precaution. DP Cora walked to her window, pulled the curtain back. Sure enough, a black SUV sat across the street, engine idling. She should feel violated. Trapped. Instead, for the first time in months, she felt safe. Across the city, in a renovated loft that served as his main office, Jack stood at floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Chicago skyline. David Park entered without knocking. She's home. Security's posted. I sent the confirmation texts. Good. You want to tell me what changed? David asked. 2 years you watched from a distance. 2 years you refused to approach. And now suddenly, Snake made his move. Jax's voice was flat. I didn't have a choice. There's always a choice. Not with her. He turned, the dragon tattoo stark against his white shirt. Get word to the streets. Anyone who touches her answers to me. Anyone who even looks at her wrong answers to me. That's going to draw attention. People are going to... I know. Jax cut him off. That's why we move first. Quietly. Make it clear she's off limits. And when your brother finds out? The question hung in the air like smoke. Jax's jaw tightened. Min Ho doesn't control me. He controls the Korean operations. He controls your mother. He controls... David stopped. He's going to see this as weakness. Then he can come tell me that himself. Jax's eyes went cold, hard as concrete. But until he does, we proceed. Cora is under my protection. That's final. David nodded. He'd worked for Jax long enough to know that tone. Absolute. One more thing, Jax said. Background check on Cora. Full workup. I want to know everything. You've been watching her for 2 years. What more could... Everything, David. Family, debts, medical history, past relationships. If there's leverage someone could use against her, I need to know before my brother finds it. On it. David headed for the door, paused. Boss, you sure about this? Bringing her in close? No. But you're doing it anyway. Yes. Why? Jax looked back out at the city, at the millions of lights representing millions of lives he'd never cared about. Until one woman smiled at an old man, and suddenly caring became inevitable. Because she's mine, he said quietly, and I protect what's mine. 12 hours later, 7,000 miles away in Seoul, South Korea, Choi Min-ho sat in his penthouse office, reading an encrypted message from his contacts in Chicago. Subject, Jax, status update. Your brother has publicly claimed a woman, African-American, working class. No family connections, no value to the organization. He's protecting her. Word is spreading. Rivals are watching. Min-ho set down his phone and stared out at the Seoul skyline. His younger brother, the heir to their father's American empire, the one who was supposed to expand their influence, strengthen their position, secure their family's legacy. Instead, he was risking everything for a woman. Min-ho picked up his phone and dialed. Book me a flight to Chicago, he said in Korean, first class tomorrow. It was time to remind Jax what mattered. Family came first. Always. End of Chapter 3. As Cora prepares for her first day at Legacy, neither she nor Jax realize that the greatest threat isn't from Chicago's underworld. It's flying across the Pacific Ocean, carrying the weight of family obligation and the fury of an older brother who won't let love destroy what generations built. Legacy Import and Export occupied 3 floors of a renovated building in the South Loop. Glass, steel, and exposed brick. The kind of gentrified industrial aesthetic that screamed money and taste. Cora stood outside at 7:55 a.m. clutching her purse, feeling absurdly underdressed in jeans and a blazer. Her phone buzzed. David Park, 3rd floor. Elevator code is 4738. Welcome to Legacy. She entered. The lobby was pristine. Marble floors, leather furniture, a receptionist who smiled professionally. Normal, legitimate, exactly what Jax had promised. The elevator rose smooth and silent. 3rd floor. Doors opened to reveal David Park, waiting. Korean-American, early 30s, wearing a tailored suit that probably cost more than her car. His handshake was firm, his smile genuine but cautious. Assessing. Miss Hayes, good to meet you in person. Call me Cora. Cora. He gestured down a hallway lined with frosted glass offices. We'll start with paperwork. Then I'll show you around. Your office is at the end. Corner view. Private bathroom. Jax wanted you comfortable. Where is Jax? Handling business. He'll be in later. David opened a conference room door. After you. The next 3 hours were surreal. Legitimate company. Legitimate job. W-2 forms. Insurance options. Direct deposit setup. Everything above board. David explained her role. Coordinating security protocols for shipments. Managing vendor relationships, liaising with clients. Nothing about territory wars or broken fingers or men who watched from shadows. Questions? David asked, sliding the final form across the table. Cora signed. When do I meet the team? Now. He stood. Most are in the main office. Fair warning. They're loyal to Jax. They'll be polite, but they'll also be watching. Testing. Testing for what? Whether you're a weakness or an asset. His expression stayed neutral. They've seen people come into Jax's life before. They know how this ends. How does it end? Badly, for everyone. David held the door open. Try not to take it personally. The main office was open concept. 20 desks, 15 people currently working. Half looked up when Cora entered. Tommy Sung, surveillance specialist, late 20s. 3 monitors on his desk showing traffic cameras across the south side. He nodded once, expression carefully blank. Lucas Jin, financial operator, early 30s, designer glasses and a spreadsheet that probably tracked money laundering. He didn't acknowledge her at all. 3 others, 2 men, 1 woman, watched with varying degrees of curiosity and suspicion. Everyone, David announced. This is Cora Hayes, new security coordinator. She reports directly to me, answers to Jax. Questions? Silence. Then Tommy spoke. She know what we really do? She knows enough, David said. Enough to stay quiet? The woman asked. Late 20s, Korean American, sharp eyes. Name tag read Grace Kim, logistics. Enough to not be a problem, David replied, firm, final. Grace's gaze slid to Cora. We'll see. Cora's office was exactly as promised. Corner view overlooking Michigan Avenue. Modern furniture, a computer already set up with her credentials. She sat in the leather chair and exhaled. This was real. This was happening. A knock interrupted her spiraling thoughts. Jack stood in the doorway. He'd changed since last night. Still the white shirt. Still the 4 buttons undone, revealing the dragon tattoo. But now he wore a suit jacket. Professional. Dangerous. The contrast was striking. Settling in? He asked. Your people hate me. They're cautious. There's a difference. He entered, closed the door behind him. Give them time. How much time? However long it takes. He moved to the window, stood beside her desk, close enough she could smell his cologne. They've seen me bring people into this world before. Watch those people break under pressure, or betray us, or die. His jaw tightened. Yes. Encouraging. I'm being honest. He turned to face her. You wanted honesty. That's what this is. My world isn't safe, Cora. Even the legitimate parts touch the illegitimate. Even here, you're closer to danger than you've ever been. Then why bring me here? Because the alternative is worse. His hand lifted, cupped her face like he had at the bus stop. Possessive, gentle. Out there you're exposed. Here you're protected. Here I can control the variables. Cora's breath hitched. I'm not a variable. No, you're... He stopped, searched for words. You're the one thing I can't risk losing. The admission hung between them. Raw, vulnerable. Before she could respond, David's voice crackled through the desk intercom. Boss, we have a problem. Jax's expression hardened. He pressed the button. What problem? Your brother. He's here. The conference room became a war zone in 30 seconds. Jax sat at the head of the table, David and Lucas flanking him. Tommy manned the laptop, pulling up surveillance feeds. Grace stood by the door, hand resting on something under her jacket. Cora had been ordered to stay in her office. She'd ignored that order. Now she stood in the corner, watching as a man appeared on the monitor. Early 30s, expensive suit, face that looked like Jack's but harder, colder. Choi Min-ho. He's in the lobby, Tommy reported. 2 bodyguards, no visible weapons. He wouldn't need weapons, Lucas muttered. Jax said nothing. Just watched the screen with the intensity of a predator calculating distance. What does he want? Cora asked. Everyone turned, like they'd forgotten she existed. You, Jax said quietly. Her stomach dropped. What? Word travels fast. My brother heard I claimed someone, heard I'm protecting someone. His eyes stayed on the monitor. He's here to remind me where my loyalties should lie. And where should they lie? With family, with the organization, with Korea. Jax stood. Not with an American woman who offers nothing to our empire. The words stung. Even knowing he was explaining his brother's perspective, not his own. David, Grace, with me. Lucas, contact our people. I want eyes on every asset Min-ho brought to Chicago. Tommy, lock down the building. What about me? Cora demanded. You stay here. He moved toward the door. Don't leave this floor. Don't talk to anyone. Don't... I'm not a child. He stopped, turned back. The look in his eyes made her step backward. No. You're the only thing keeping me from starting a war with my own blood. So you stay here, stay safe, and let me handle this." Then he was gone. Cora watched the monitor as Jax, David, and Grace entered the lobby. Minho stood by the receptionist's desk, hands in his pockets, looking like he owned the place. When he saw Jax, he smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. Dongseng, little brother. The Korean word came through the audio feed, affectionate on the surface, condescending underneath. Hyung, older brother. Jax stopped 10 feet away. "You should have called. I wanted to surprise you." Minho's English was perfect, touched with a Seoul accent. "Besides, we're family. Family doesn't need appointments. What do you want? Can't I visit my little brother?" Minho spread his hands. "I heard business is good. Wanted to see for myself." "Bullshit." The smile widened. "Fine, I heard you made some very interesting decisions lately. Thought we should discuss them, brother to brother." "There's nothing to discuss." "No?" Minho took a step closer. "You claim a woman, publicly. Draw attention to yourself. Put a target on our entire operation. And you think there's nothing to discuss?" "She's under my protection. That's all anyone needs to know." "Protection?" Minho laughed, cold, sharp. "Is that what we're calling it? Because from where I stand, it looks like obsession. Weakness. The kind of distraction that gets people killed." Jax's hands flexed. "Careful." "Or what? You'll fight me, your own brother?" Minho switched to Korean rapid fire. "Aappeared 보면 실망하실 거야." Father would be disappointed. "아버지는 죽었어," Jax replied in Korean. "Father is dead. But his legacy isn't. His empire isn't." Minho stepped closer, invading Jax's space. "And you're risking it all for what? A woman? An outsider who doesn't understand our world, our culture, our—" "That's enough." "Is it?" Minho's voice dropped. "Dangerous. Tell me, little brother, when you have to choose, and you will have to choose, will you pick her, or will you pick family?" Silence stretched. Then Jax said quietly, "I already chose." Upstairs, Cora's hands trembled on the desk edge. She'd just heard Jax declare in front of his brother, his team, his entire organization, that he chose her. Minho's expression went cold. "Then you're a fool." "Maybe." Jax straightened his jacket. "But I'm a fool who controls this territory, this city, this operation, and unless you're here to challenge that, we're done talking." "I'm not here to challenge you." Minho adjusted his cufflinks, calm, controlled. "I'm here to offer you a way out, a solution that protects everyone." "What solution?" "Come home, to Seoul. Bring your woman, if you must. But leave Chicago to someone who won't let emotions compromise security." Minho paused. "Mother misses you. The family wants you home. We can find you a position. Something legitimate, something safe. You want me to abandon everything I built. I want you to survive." For the first time, something genuine flickered in Minho's eyes. "You're my brother, Jax. I don't want to watch you destroy yourself over a woman." Jax was quiet for a long moment, then, "Tell Mother I'm sorry, but my answer is no. You're choosing her over your family. I'm choosing my life over your version of it." Jax moved toward the elevator. "You know where the exit is, Hyung. Use it." Minho watched his younger brother walk away. Then he pulled out his phone and made a call. When he spoke, his voice was ice. He refused. Proceed with contingency. He hung up, looked directly at the security camera, directly at Tommy's feed, and smiled. "See you soon." "Dongseng," he said to the camera, to Jax, to everyone watching. Then he left. In the conference room, the team exhaled collectively. "That went better than expected," Lucas said. "No, it didn't." Tommy closed his laptop. He came with a backup plan. He always has a backup plan. David looked at the screen. "What do you think he's going to do?" Before anyone could answer, Jax entered. His face was stone. "Double security on Cora. 24/7 detail, no exceptions." He looked at David. "And get me everything we have on Minho's movements in Chicago. Who he's meeting, where he's staying, what he's planning." "You think he's going to move against her?" Grace asked. "I know he is." Jax's voice was granite. He didn't fly 7,000 miles just to have a conversation. He came to eliminate what he sees as a problem. And if he tries? David asked quietly. Jax's eyes went black, empty, the look of a man who'd already made peace with what he was willing to do. Then he'll learn that blood doesn't matter more than choice, and I choose her. Minho's arrival changes everything. Now Jax must protect Cora not just from Chicago's underworld, but from his own family. And in the shadows, Minho's contingency plan is already in motion, one that will force Jax to make the ultimate sacrifice. 3 days passed. 3 days of Cora arriving at Legacy with armed escorts. 3 days of Jax appearing in her office doorway at random hours, saying nothing, just watching, making sure she was still there, still safe, still his. 3 days of waiting for Minho's next move. It came on a Friday. Cora was reviewing shipping manifests when her office door burst open. David, face pale. We need to move, now. What? Minho has Shanice. The world stopped. Shanice Williams, her best friend, single mother of a 6-year-old. The woman who'd covered her shifts, who'd loaned her rent money, who'd been at every birthday for the past 5 years. What do you mean, has her? Cora's voice came out strangled. She left work early, said her kid was sick, she never made it home. David grabbed Cora's arm. Minho's people took her. An hour ago. They'd just sent proof. He held up his phone. The photo showed Shanice, bound, gagged, terror in her eyes, in what looked like a warehouse. And behind her, written in spray paint on the concrete wall, Guiga, go home. What does that mean? Cora whispered. It's Korean. It means go home. David's grip tightened. It's a message to Jax. Leave Chicago, return to Korea, or she dies. Cora's legs went numb. Where's Jax? On his way, but Cora... David pulled her toward the door. We need to get you to the safe house, now. If Minho has Shanice, you're next. I'm not hiding while my best friend... You're the reason she's in danger, David's voice cracked. Don't you understand? Minho took her to hurt you, to hurt Jax. The safest thing you can do right now is disappear until this is over. No. She jerked free. Take me to Jax. Now. The warehouse was south side, abandoned. The same type of place where screams went unheard, and bodies disappeared without questions. Jax's Mercedes was already there when David's SUV pulled up. So were 4 other vehicles, his inner circle, ready for war. But there was another car, black, rental plates, Minho's. Jax stood outside talking rapid-fire into his phone in Korean. When he saw Cora emerge from the SUV, his expression went apocalyptic. What the hell is she doing here? He rounded on David. She insisted. I don't care if she insisted. Jax stalked toward them. You take her back. Now. No. Cora stepped forward. Shanice is in there because of me. Because you decided to make me your responsibility. This is my fault. This is Minho's fault. Because of me. Her voice cracked. So I'm going in. I'm doing whatever it takes to get her back. Over my dead body. Then I guess we're both dead. She pushed past him toward the warehouse door. Jax grabbed her arm, spun her around. You don't get to throw your life away. And you don't get to decide what I do with it. She jerked free. You said I had a choice, that I could walk away any time. Well, I'm choosing. I'm choosing my friend over your protection. Cora, let me go. They stood there, 2 feet apart, everything unsaid between them crystallizing into this single moment. Finally, Jax exhaled. Fine. But I'm coming with you, and if Minho makes one wrong move, brother or not, I end him. Deal. The warehouse interior smelled like rust and old blood. Minho stood in the center, flanked by 4 men, armed, professional. Shanice knelt at his feet, still bound, dried tears on her face. Jax. Minho smiled. And Miss Hayes. How touching. Let her go, Cora said. All in good time. Minho circled Shanice like a shark. First, let's discuss terms. There are no terms. Jax's voice was ice. You release her. You leave Chicago. You live. Such hostility. Toward your own blood, Minho tsked. Father would be ashamed. Father's dead, and he'd understand protecting what's mine. What's yours? Minho laughed. She's not a territory, Jax. She's not an asset. She's a liability, a weakness, and I'm here to remove that weakness. By threatening an innocent woman? By showing you the cost of your choices? Minho gestured to Shanice. This is what happens when you put personal desires above family obligations. People get hurt, good people, because of your selfishness. Jax's hands clenched. You want to talk about selfishness? You fly to my city, threaten my people, and lecture me about family? I'm trying to save you. Minho's composure cracked. Don't you see? This woman, this obsession, it's going to destroy you, destroy us. Mother is sick with worry. The Soul family questions your loyalty. Our enemies see vulnerability. Then let them come. You'd start a war? Over her? I'd end one. Jax stepped forward. You want me back in Soul? Under your control? Following your rules? Never going to happen, young. I built my life here. My territory. My choices. Then you choose her over your family. I choose freedom over obligation. Jax's voice dropped, deadly quiet. Now let Shanice go before I forget we share blood. Minho stared at his younger brother. Years of resentment, frustration, and genuine concern warring across his face. Then he pulled out a gun. The warehouse exploded into chaos. Jax's men drew weapons. Minho's men drew weapons. Everyone pointed at everyone, except Minho. His gun pointed at Cora. One move, Minho said calmly, and she dies. Jax froze. Hyung, don't. Why not? She's the problem. Remove the problem. You come home. Simple. If you kill her, I will hunt you across the world. Brother or not, blood or not. I will destroy everything you love. Would you? Minho tilted his head. Or would you grieve, realize I was right, and finally come home where you belong? You don't know me as well as you think. I know you better than you know yourself. Minho's finger moved to the trigger. I know you're afraid of caring, afraid of losing, so you push people away, control everything, watch from shadows. He looked at Cora. Until she made you feel something you couldn't control. Cora's heart hammered. The gun barrel looked enormous from this angle. She didn't make me feel anything, Jax said quietly. She just made me stop hiding from what I already felt. Minho blinked. What? For 2 years I watched her, told myself it was about protection, about territory, about control. Jax's voice roughened. But it was never about that. It was about finding one good thing in a world built on violence. One person who reminded me there's more than blood and power and family obligation. He stepped forward, hands raised. You want to shoot someone? Shoot me. Let Shanice go. Let Cora go. And if you still think I should come home, I'll consider it, but you don't touch her. Not now. Not ever. You're willing to die for her. I'm willing to live for her. Jax stopped 5 feet from the gun. That's the difference between us, young. You only understand sacrifice through death. I learned to understand it through life. Silence stretched. Then slowly, Minho lowered the gun. You really love her? Not a question, a realization. Yes. Even knowing it could cost you everything? Especially then. Minho looked at Cora, at Shanice, at his brother standing between them and death. He holstered his weapon. Cut her loose, he ordered his men. They hesitated, then obeyed. Shanice collapsed, sobbing. Cora ran to her, wrapped her arms around her best friend. You're okay, I've got you. Minho stared at Jax. I'm going back to Soul. Good, but this isn't over. Mother will want answers. The family will demand accountability. Then they can come ask me themselves. Jax straightened his jacket. My answer will be the same. Minho nodded slowly. You know what Father used to say. A man who has nothing to lose is dangerous, but a man who has everything to lose is unstoppable. He paused at the door. I hope she's worth it, Dongseng. She is. Minho left. His men followed. The warehouse fell silent except for Shanice's quiet crying and Cora's whispered reassurances. At the hospital 2 hours later, doctors confirmed Shanice was physically unharmed, traumatized, terrified, but alive. Her son was with a neighbor, safe. Cora sat beside the bed holding Shanice's hand. I'm so sorry, she whispered for the 100th time. Stop apologizing. Shanice squeezed back weakly. You didn't do this, his psycho brother did. Because of me. Because of him. Shanice met her eyes. But Cora, you need to figure out what you want, because this life, Jax's life, it's not going to get easier. Today was his brother. Tomorrow it'll be someone else. And you have to decide if you can live with that. Outside, Jax waited by his car. Cora emerged an hour later, exhausted, drained. "She's staying the night for observation," Cora said. "I need to—" "I've already arranged security," Jax interrupted. "Her room, her apartment, her son's school. She's protected." Cora's throat tightened. "For how long?" "As long as necessary." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one I have." He looked at her. Really looked. "I'm sorry for Minho, for dragging you into this, for—" "Stop." She stepped closer. "Your brother made his choices, you made yours, and now I need to make mine." Fear flickered in his eyes. "What does that mean?" "It means I need time, space, to figure out if I can live in your world. If I can accept that loving you means accepting danger, means accepting that people I care about could get hurt." Her voice broke. "I need to know if I'm strong enough for this. You're the strongest person I know. Then prove it." She met his gaze. "Walk away, from the territory, from the violence, from all of it." Jax stared at her. "You're asking me to give up everything. I'm asking you to choose what matters." She turned toward the street. "When you figure out the answer, you know where to find me. Cora, don't follow me tonight, please." He didn't, and as she walked into the Chicago night, unguarded for the first time in days, terrifyingly alone, heartbreakingly free, Jax made the hardest decision of his life. 3 months later, Cora will receive a letter, and Jax will discover that some prices are worth paying, even if it means losing everything you've ever known. The house was small, suburban, the kind of place no one looked twice at. Cora stood in the kitchen, morning light streaming through windows that didn't have bars. She was making coffee, real coffee, not the instant kind from her old apartment, when arms wrapped around her waist. "Morning," Jax murmured against her neck. "Morning yourself." She leaned back into him. "You're up early." "Couldn't sleep." He turned her around, and she saw it in his eyes, the lingering disbelief that this was real, that they were here. 2 years since he'd walked away. 2 years since he'd dismantled his empire piece by piece, negotiated exits, paid debts, and finally stepped out of the shadows. It hadn't been easy. There'd been threats, challenges, one last confrontation with Minho that ended with an uneasy truce and their mother's blessing. The Soul family still didn't approve, but they'd stopped interfering. But they'd survived. "She's awake," Jax said, nodding toward the hallway. As if on cue, a cry echoed through the house. Not distressed, just demanding. Cora smiled. "Your turn."